Welcome to PC Gaming Tech Summary. I'm your host Gamer, and today we're going over rendering videos. Yes, I got the new Alder Lake 12700K, been rendering videos with it. I do keep an eye on temperatures, make adjustments as needed, but this is a bit of a danger. So if you use just stock settings and play games, it's no problem. The only game that I've seen a problem with is Metro Exodus Enhanced. And once I activated the VSync, it was okay. But if it's trying to create a whole lot of frames, keep an eye on the temps there. So I'm going over in the video a couple programs that I use to keep tabs of things. They're free programs. Get them from the authors, from the people that actually wrote them. Don't get them from other places. There's a lot of rubbish going around at the moment. You could be rendering these videos and thermal throttling and not know about it, and doing damages to your cores. And this is the settings that have been given by Intel. Okay, so I basically, what I'm doing in this video is I am not showing you how to overclock or underclock a CPU because I'm no expert. But I am going to go in, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going in to the BIOS, the UEFI BIOS, MSI Z690 Pro A Wi-Fi motherboard, and I am going to do an underclock so that when I turn on the computer, my frequencies are lower by about 500 megahertz, so half a gigahertz. So the lowest one I can, in this method, the lowest one I can do is a -5. So it's quite easy for me to go in there and do it, but it's complicated. I am not an overclocking or an underclocking expert by any means. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Anything you do or anything you don't do is at your own risk, okay? So what I'm doing here is at my own risk. And I'm just trying to lower these frequencies because it seems to be not good for the cores, okay? And some of the cores are running a bit hotter than they should. And this is something that you wouldn't normally see if you're just gaming, okay? The gaming doesn't put such a stress on the CPU like rendering videos. It's utilizing the cores way above 90%, okay? So some of these cores are peaking at 100% utilization during the rendering process, but they're all peaking over 90%. So it is a bit of a stress on the CPU, especially if your temps are too high. And so what I'm saying is the default settings, when you get your CPU, put it in and away you go, and you go and render videos every day and you don't look at your temperatures. I just want my average temperature to be about around the 80-degree or lower mark. I've heard 75 is even better. Well, so if I can get it around there, I'll be much happier because, like I said, I want the CPU to last a bit longer than it looks like it's going to last if I keep doing this. So following Intel's recommendations with the default settings. So anyways, we're going into the UEFI BIOS. So click restart now. Start. Okay, so if your mouse does not work, you can use the arrow keys and the enter key, return key. So we're gonna go to troubleshoot, advanced options, UEFI firmware settings, and restart. Okay, so we're in advanced mode at the moment. If you wanted to go into easy mode, you come up here to the top and you can press F7, or if your mouse is working, click it. So this is the basic simple version. Here we're going to go back to the advanced. Let's go back, boot. Going into boot, I notice my secure boot is not on. Okay, so I had to come over here to the right, and then this slots over. You've got overclock profile, hardware monitor, and security. So I went into security, secure boot, and then enabled. I just enabled the secure boot. Okay. Re-sizable bar should be enabled. So we're going to go over to overclock settings now, over here. And I'm just showing you what I'm going to do. I don't want my computer using those high frequencies and high thermal throttling temperatures when I'm rendering videos. So I know that by underclocking the CPU, I can still get adequate gaming performance, just as good, basically, gaming performance. So I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do. So we've got P-core ratio apply mode. Okay, I'm going to go to turbo ratio offset. Okay, and I'm going to activate -5. Okay, and that will decrease the frequency for 1 P-core at 5 gigahertz. It's going to decrease it all the way down to 4.5 gigahertz. Okay, so it's doing that with the other cores. Okay, I'm going to leave E-core alone at stock. Okay, so that's all I had to do. So I just went in there, I switched it from all core to turbo ratio offset, and then put it in -5. Okay, that's all. And then, so I'm done. So if I come up here and press the X, it'll tell me the changes. I want re-sizable bar on. I want secure boot enabled, and I want P-core turbo ratio offset selected to -5. Okay, I'm just loading in the, have a look at what frequencies are being used. Okay, so with that underclock that I applied in the UEFI BIOS, it's dropped everything down. So I've started to render a video that I've been using as a test. And in this gaming video, it's got the gameplay sped up 1.5 times the usual. And I have found when I do this, it puts extra stress on the CPU. So when rendering a video, it basically uses over 90% of your cores. So utilization of your cores is over 90%. Some of them may even be 100%. So it really stresses your CPU when you render. So if you were to leave it on the stock settings, you are bound to run into some temperature issues. And if you leave it like that, it could get worse over time as it's damaging the cores. So I've put in this -5 offset to reduce the clock frequencies. And so what you have here is you have the full package temperature. So it's the effect of all these cores creating one temperature. Or you can then look at individual cores as to what their temperatures are. And this is the minimum. We really don't need to worry about this column. And then the max. Okay. Now I'm using the CPU ID HW monitor. HW Info 64 is the other program I'm using, which just has so much information and it's a little, takes a little bit to set it up and get to what you want. So what I'm interested in over here is an average of the CPU power, package power, the watts being used. Okay, so currently it's averaging 122, and the max that it's hit is 132. And then that's the current. Okay, so that's what I'm interested there. Also, it's brought up, the temperatures tend to be different between the programs, but it gives you a general indication of what they are. And over here is even average, the average per core on the. So what we have is these bottom 4 cores are the efficient cores. So they're smaller cores with only 1 thread. A thread is like a pipe or wire coming out. That's the way I like to think of it. So with the P cores, which is all of these, it says P core, performance cores, they have 2 threads. Okay, so they can send out more information. They're bigger cores, more powerful, can operate at faster speed. And so this is what makes the Alder Lake range of CPUs so good. And so what we've got here is max temperature over here at 84 for the package. And this one is reading that it maxed at 85, so not too far away from each other. And I want a very good average. So we've got 77 as the average here. The HW monitor doesn't have an average that I know about. Okay, so the frequencies of the cores is 4.2. This is looking quite good, and I'll do a bit of a summary once the rendering is finished. It is the 20th of April 2022 as we complete our rendering test here. This is the sound of the AIO and the fans and the pump. So I have changed it so that at the 80-degree mark, fans are at 100% for the AIO, the MSI 240R, which has the Mayhem's coolant. So I have removed the coolant after a month and put in a different, more reliable coolant with better biocides and corrosion inhibitors. You can take a screenshot in Windows 11 by pressing 3 keys at once, and that's the Windows key, the Shift key, and S for screenshot. And then I'll show you that once the rendering is completed. Okay, so that's it. So we'll take a screenshot. Okay, I'm going to select the whole screen, which is this one here. Click on it, and then you do a right click to save it. Okay, so that took 14. minute and 9 seconds. The length of the video was 22 minutes. Okay. And normal editing, normal rendering is faster than this, but it's with the speeding up the footage 1.5 times. It takes longer to complete. Well, it's a bit interesting, all this core technology, very interesting. Performance cores, efficient cores. Well, if you'd like to see some more videos on this kind of thing, and chemistry and technology, and different hardware and software, and Windows 10 and 11, and just a huge range of technology videos, you just have to subscribe, and then you'll get notified when those videos are ready. Thanks for joining us here on PC Gaming Tech Summary, and don't forget, you'll be seeing me in the next video.